when they deploy AI properly, we're finding less than 5% of them are laying off anyone. Instead, what they're doing is they free up the time of their valued people. They put their people to work at higher order level work, and they have them building relationships, innovating, expanding market share, uh, improving quality, improving service, improving sales process, whatever they want to do with that discretionary time that they've found by using AI.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ask Anthem podcast. Today, we have a very special guest coming and joining us. He is currently the founder and CEO of Best Results AI, which is a veteran consultant specializing in AI productivity for small to mid-sized businesses and nonprofits. Mike Burkesmith, how are you doing?
We are all great today, and
Heck yeah.
always nice to be hanging out with the Anthem.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on today. I know for me personally, and obviously for all of Anthem as well, we've really started to kind of dive into that AI world a little bit, especially in the last year. So we're very excited to kind of get your, pick your brain a little bit today, get some insight, and I think it'll be very helpful for obviously our staff, but as well as any of the listeners who are coming up, starting a new business, or just trying to incorporate it into their company. But so to start off, I was kind of hoping you could give us maybe a little bit of a background on kind of how you got into the business consultant world, and then how that led to getting kind of specialized in the artificial intelligence world a little bit.
Sounds good, Gavin. I was fortunate to get to work in several industries since the early 80s, really. Mining exploration, technology companies, marketing, professional services, CTO and CIO roles, just a lot of different areas. Probably the last 26 years have been mostly about helping CEOs and owners to build great companies and use them for good. And so that has been a joy. And along the way, I've had the privilege of facilitating lots of CEO and owner groups, I guess about 600 forums all day so far. And I've done about 6,000 executive coaching sessions with owners and CEOs and their teams. And what occurred to me when I saw generative AI 23 was that I did not want any of my clients to fall behind. I knew that this was so important, such a sea change. The most important change in knowledge work and human history was coming. And so my desire was to be more than prepared, but actually able to equip and engage them and help them expand their territory, becoming more efficient and effective, more high quality, more innovative. And so that's how I arrived here with a team that we call Best Results.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think when I saw the biggest change of people, kind of being, at first intimidated by AI, but then realizing that you start using it is when you just realize really how efficient it can make you. I think I learned about AI when I was still a college student, and just for stuff like studying for tests, like the efficiency you can do in doing flashcards or stuff like that, which is obviously way less significant than what we're talking about with Best Results to AI and when you're working with businesses. But like, I just learned, fortunately, when I was still young, about how efficient it can be. So my first question I have today is, what do you see is the biggest maybe misconception small businesses have about AI adoption in this day and age?
Well, today we're in a season where AI is more familiar to more people. However, small and medium companies are typically not being proactive to embrace AI and to come up with a policy for how to do it, a roadmap for deployment. And deployment, involves a few different elements. And so sometimes people want to think, well, I can just let my people bring their own AI to work. Problem with that is a lot of the accounts they bring to work are not secure. So if they put your proprietary information into those accounts, it'll be available to the large language models. When I say large language model, that's like ChatGPT or Copilot or Gemini or Claude or Grok or whatever. And we just don't want our information out there. So it requires that we plan ahead and get the right kind of account set up for our people if we're going to allow AI in our midst. And we need to. It's great for all kinds of applications, but we need to be mindful and wise about how we deploy it.
For sure. And that kind of leads into my next question because I think a lot of the time, part of the reason maybe they're not implementing a way to, kind of adopt the technology is maybe their mindset on it is a little skewed. I feel like a lot of people maybe are kind of scared that it might replace jobs, or disrupt their company culture. And so I'm kind of wondering like what advice you would give to, small to medium sized business owners on how to change their mindset and look at it in maybe more of a positive light.
A couple of thoughts and a couple of facts. One of them is we hear in the news about layoffs at these very large corporations or very specialized companies. For
Hmm.
example, companies that have a very large number of data analysts. Well, AI is so spectacular at that it's no wonder that they would replace a few people in that category. But
Hmm.
here's the fact. When it comes to small, medium businesses, when they deploy AI properly, we're finding less than 5% of them are laying off anyone. Instead, what they're doing is they free up the time of their valued people. They put their people to work at higher order level work, and they have them building relationships, innovating, expanding market share, improving quality, improving service, improving sales process, whatever they want to
Hmm.
do with that discretionary time that they've found by using AI. And
Hmm.
so the good news about that is that we can let our teams know as we deploy AI that we're going to work with them. We're not planning to replace them,
Yeah.
and that we are planning to help them with a great career, a new kind of career, which is an AI empowered career.
Hmm.
So I just encourage people to rethink it if they've been concerned about these things,
Yeah.
and to really do it well, not to do it haphazard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think switching their mindset from, look at it as an asset or a tool rather than a potential replacement for your job is definitely a better way to look at it.
Yeah.
Um, and I've seen it just in the last year using it here at Anthem, just how much of a tool it can be. So you kind of talked about, integrating a strategy. I was kind of interested to see what kind of initial steps you recommend for leaders of companies to kind of implement that practical and like measurable strategy.
Good question. We recommend that people start with a little assessment, which we
Hmm.
do as part of our deployment consulting, which is doesn't take very long, but it's very important.
Hmm.
Are we ready to deploy AI? If not, what do we need to do with our technology, with our culture, with our expectations? And are we going to be able to hold ourselves accountable to get real world results? That is, get an ROI on all of this, which means let's do a deployment strategy that not only equips our people to use AI, but
Hmm.
which measures what they're doing. So at bestresults.ai, we have a platform
Hmm.
where every participant in our workshops gets an account, and they log little journals about the AI projects they're doing. And they keep track of the before AI, after AI efficiency gains, quality
Hmm.
gains, innovation gains. And that allows them to hold themselves accountable to actually get a positive ROI. It also means the team knows that their colleagues are working on this, they're working on it. After a while, our goal is that they build a culture of AI empowered continuous improvement within their firm.
Hmm.
And that requires that the leadership become even more effective at change management. In other words, engaging their team
Yeah,
in open, frequent, safe conversation about change, because AI does introduce change, a good
for
kind.
sure.
But if we don't talk about it, a lot of times people will assume things that are incorrect about what's happening, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I do because that kinda makes me think about just I do feel kind of lucky sometimes that, I came in to, this job when I had already kinda, knew a little bit about AI. I got my feet wet a little bit, but for a lot of people here that have been, doing this certain way of, doing things for so long and now switching to AI might be a little more, scary or hard for them, whereas for me, it's like I started this job when AI was already pretty prominent. So I wanted to, because this kind of leads into this next question too. So I did some research of my own, and I found that it says that 22% of businesses currently have a well-defined AI strategy, which was kind of saying that like maybe some companies are trying to, but don't have a to find one. But it
Mhm.
says that those that do, obviously, as you touched on, do see increased employee confidence and ROI. What are some of the common obstacles you see when trying to help these businesses, do the strategic AI rollout?
I found the same stats. A lot of publications are trying to track how is deployment happening.
Mm-hmm.
Nearly 80% are not doing it very well yet. Our firm, bestresults.ai, has helped about 100 organizations, both for-profit and nonprofit, to deploy AI. And we've had to learn a few things about how to do it well. And the
Mm-hmm.
good thing is it can be done well, and it isn't rocket science, but it does require attention and also the intentionality that people will be invited to grow. They're going to grow in their effectiveness, their efficiency, even their
Mm-hmm.
engagement. Our participants in our training workshops come out saying, you know what, I like my work even more than I ever have before because I'm doing more creative, innovative work because
Mm-hmm.
AI is helping me do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, set aside the doubt and fear that we mentioned earlier and instead check it out. We provide free consults with folks who are considering an AI deployment,
Mm-hmm.
basically to find out, are they ready? And if they want to get ready, how to do that. And then we can help them along the way if they so desire.
That's awesome. So that same study that I referred to also showed that small and medium-sized businesses report significant operational efficiencies from AI, including slashing costs by 36% and saving 57% more than occasional users. Do you think you could share maybe a specific example, without using names, where this implementation led to like measurable impact for one of your clients?
We measure impact for all of our clients. For example, we have a managed service provider firm that engaged in a 10-week workshop series with about 10 of their folks. And
Mhm.
after about 3 months, they had identified 2,500 hours per year of time saved. Depending on what hourly rate you apply to that, that could be worth $250,000 of
Mhm.
value of time from people who are knowledge workers, professionals.
Mhm.
The implication of this is broad and deep. We're finding across industries somewhere between 10% to 50% or even more time saved by knowledge workers that they can reapply to expanding their firm, expanding their craft, expanding their relationships.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that it's crazy because just kind of, for me, seeing how much it's blown up, especially seeing just like in the stock market with how many companies are now investing, billions of dollars into all this new technology. It kind of like opens your eye to like, okay, this is clearly a new thing, and it's here to stay. So my next question that I wanted to talk about. So as organizations increasingly seek to, measure, improve ROI, AI investment, what metrics or processes do you find most reliable, when tracking AI's impact on productivity and cost savings and revenue growth and stuff like that?
What we do with AI in part is we tailor a role profile for every participant. It's like an AI job description, but it's blown out into a beautiful matrix of the responsibilities and all the deliverables for that role.
Mm-hmm.
And then we identify corresponding key performance indicators for each of those deliverables. And our participants are actually able to track any of those that they want to, usually on dashboards that they didn't previously have because now they're able to build them with AI.
Yeah.
And so we're tracking things like how much less time it takes with AI.
Mm-hmm.
But we're finding gains of maybe 2 times less to 3,000 times less time,
Oh my
depending on
gosh.
what the activity is.
Yeah.
We're looking at how much better is the quality. Boy, if you increase your customer service quality or
Yeah.
you increase the consistency of excellence in delivering any service,
Mm-hmm.
what happens is your clients become stickier, your word of mouth referrals go up,
Yeah.
your revenue increases. In fact, the research I've been doing is showing small, medium firms who are deploying AI intentionally
Mm-hmm.
are increasing revenue, they're increasing market share, they're increasing profitability.
Mm-hmm.
And, these are kind of typical business indicators, but
Yeah.
at the macro level within an organization, if you can accomplish those things and you set the table to do it for the long run by integrating AI into the fabric of your company,
Mm.
then you have made an investment which is going to be measured over not just weeks or months, but over years, the
Yeah.
return on that.
Yeah. And that's interesting when you touched on because I've noticed like the customer service stuff with AI. Like I notice now, like pretty much any website you call, it's going to be an AI chatbot that at least you're speaking to at first. That's one thing I've noticed, just like in the retail business that they've been using AI for. So switching topics a little bit. So obviously here at Anthem, we're a CPA accounting firm, and so I'm kind of interested in this industry, like for accounting firms. How do you think we can help clients identify like the best AI tools or workflows for like their specific needs? What like relating to, the accounting industry?
Well, yes, accountants are typically not only doing tax and audit and, maybe some wealth advisory like Anthem
Yep.
and maybe bookkeeping and so on, but they're also providing advisory services. And what
Mhm.
tends to happen when we deploy AI in companies, small, medium companies, is we find out where some of the priority issues lie. Where are the points of need or the gaps in those companies where if they were to fill the gap and improve their performance, that company would do much better. And I think that's part of why Anthem exists, is
Mhm.
to help people prioritize what they work on and
Mhm.
then find wise approaches to filling those gaps in a tax advantaged way, in a strategic way that will carry that client year after year with
Mhm.
excellence and financial stewardship. I think that's really the opportunity at hand. And
Mhm.
when we work with groups like Anthem and other organizations that serve businesses, we love to collaborate because
Mhm.
we do find out right away what people want to work on and
Mhm.
we help them work on it. We know that at Best Results AI, we can't bring all the expertise needed. We often bring in people from professional services groups like Anthem
Mhm.
to make sure that they're part of addressing the gaps that the clients have.
Mhm. That's awesome. I forget if what you said. How many companies have you guys worked with so far?
About 100 organizations. Yeah, mostly for profit, but also some not for profits.
That's awesome. So, looking into the future a little bit, I'm kind of interested to see where do you think you'll see, the biggest opportunities for small and mid-sized businesses with the AI development over the next few years? Or what do you think is coming soon, maybe, or in the works?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned bots. Back
Mhm.
in 23 and early 24, that's really all that AI could do. And it
Mhm.
wasn't friendly enough that we could all just use the base level tools like
Yeah.
ChatGPT
Yeah.
to get the results we wanted. And so instead, we would license these things that we all call AI tools,
Mm.
Don't really need to do that anymore because it's become so friendly. It's
Yeah.
moved beyond bot or chat into the reasoning stage of the evolution of AI. And that
Mhm.
means it's doing human reasoning, human level analytics, composition, research that's incredible, the integration of various models, the ability to tap into all the experts in the world in a given area of knowledge and apply their expertise specifically to our problem at hand, whatever that is. And so with AI having those kinds of abilities with the reasoning, we're
Mhm.
seeing amazing gains. Now, what is coming next, in answer to your question, is next year and into 27, we're actually going to see AI agents in the formal sense of that word, which means AI that we can set up to do work for us without us having to even touch it. In other words, schedule the work, have AI operate the work, have AI report out on the work, have AI pass the baton to another agent in the background to do additional work. In fact, we teach within our workshops how to simulate the activity of a large team of professional service workers, whether that is a team in a law office or a team in
Mhm.
a marketing agency. We get drafts that are really high quality, and
Mhm.
then we can have professionals review them. And it just speeds up the work and it makes the work less costly. And
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. So our employees who are doing it are really enjoying seeing the results they're getting.
So is that would that look like with these two agents just pretty much like just having two computers communicating without any human interaction? Is that how that would work with these
Well,
agents?
we could think of it that way. The agents are frequently running in the cloud.
Mhm.
And so the specific computers are all virtual. And yes, we're going to have agents being able to talk with one another and pass the baton between one agent and another based upon the results they're getting. Beyond that, way into the future, we're also going to see AI start innovating on its own. And then further yet, maybe 5 to 10 years out, we'll see AI operating an entire knowledge enterprise by itself. So the opportunity for small, medium business owners is one word: innovation. It is time to get out of the box. It's time to identify needs that people have. And the needs that people have are changing.
Mm-hmm.
And so as they change, the smart entrepreneurs, the smart small, medium business leaders will look for windows of opportunity, as human beings have always done as technology has changed, whether it was the automobile or the microcomputer or the internet or,
Mm-hmm.
web browsers. They've always innovated and come up with more and new and better ways to satisfy needs. And that's where the big opportunity is.
So just to clarify, so you're saying in 10 years we might see full corporations that are completely AI ran with no humans at all.
That is the model that is put forth by OpenAI, the publisher of ChatGPT, which is also the platform upon which Copilot runs.
Huh.
They have a 5-stage evolution of their view of how AI will evolve. And the
That's
5th stage
fascinating.
is the autonomous operating enterprise.
Dang, that is fascinating.
Yeah.
So with all this new development coming in the next few years, how can these firms and different companies that want to adopt it stay ahead of the curve, but to keep advancing in the business world?
I think a key here is to align yourself with someone that you want to work with,
Mm-hmm.
because staying up with AI takes effort. So what we do is when people go through our workshop series and they graduate, we continue to work with those that want to continue to work with us in what we call mastermind cohorts of graduates.
Mm-hmm.
And those are more advanced users working on more sophisticated projects. And we're actually working in peer groups to help one another make those projects better and better, and to, overcome barriers,
Yeah.
overcome getting stuck, basically.
Yeah.
So we want to break through and get
Two
stuff
brains is
done.
better than one. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming on and joining this episode today, Mike. If any of you are looking to either start a new business or currently have one and are looking to, implement these AI strategies, clearly Mike is the man to talk to. I need to do a little more research myself now, I've realized after talking to you about AI. But thank you so much for coming on today.
It's my pleasure. And, I just encourage you in your career to stay on it. And,
For
Anthem is a
sure.
great place to learn great things.
I agree. Well, thanks everyone so much for watching today. If you would like to stay up to date on our new videos that we're coming out with or our new podcasts, make sure to follow all our accounts that will be linked in the description, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. That was very fascinating and kind of creepy what I learned at the end there, but it's okay because we're going with the flow here.
Well, of course, it's really a neat opportunity, and futuring, the art of thinking in the future tense
Hmm.
is part of what we teach also. It's funny. We dedicate a whole session to how to think about the future of our work, because it's changing, and
Hmm.
that helps people get ready.
Yeah. Wait, and that's it. Do you guys do that? Like, is it like a seminar kind of thing?
We do a series of 10 workshops,
Hmm.
75 minutes each, or usually about 10 weeks. And we give homework too. So they have to upload their homework and get it reviewed on our platform. And what that does, of course, is elevates their intentional completion of projects with AI. And then secondly, they get the reward of knowing, wow, I've just been certified in this particular AI skill. I really have this down. So that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds very interesting. I know that I would be interested in doing that if you want to maybe send me the information for that to my email.
Yeah.
That's sweet. I'm sure I'll see you in the near future, but it was great to meet you today.
Nice to meet you, Gavin. Enjoy the journey.